know. Isn't she cute? Let's get started, folks. Hey, folks, there you are. This is Kurt, and I'm out in the garden this morning. You're going to hear some noise. The sprinklers went off over here, and we're puppy sitting. So we have our own Labradoodle, but this mini Labradoodle belongs next door, and she had stuff to do today, so we're taking care of little Lacey. Lacey's awesome. Hi, baby. All right, which gives us an early start here. So I titled this, pros and cons of being professional, right? And so what do? I jump on in the garden in a t-shirt and start holding up puppies. That's not what being professional is about. I'm talking about the pros and cons of being a professional. I was just on the Agency Action show yesterday with Toby Crines, who I admire greatly. We've been doing the show now for over a year, and I think we've begun to flush the best out of each other. And when I say the best out of each other, maybe I'm not even talking about the show. Maybe I'm talking about inspiration back and forth. We both have different ways of running our agencies. And so, I've got some founded ideas that I run on. I use a contractor model and he uses an employee model. So foundationally, we're very different. Now, one of the things I've been exploring is, how do I convert this to an employee model? How do I convert this into where I'm not just creating a job for myself, but I'm creating jobs, steady jobs for other people? This is an interesting concept. Having the ability to create income, revenue for people that don't necessarily want to run their own company is an interesting proposition, because, as many of you know, if you're following me, I started the WP Agency Academy, the Sunflower Launch. These are two projects very closely related to each other, two projects where we're teaching hopefully younger people how to run their own successful agency. Like, skip the pain of learning the hard way. Like, really, you're going to eat that whole stick? Who's got your stick? And so when you grow an agency, like, you might know how a server works, or how to, start an instance of WordPress, or, how to install certain plugins and configure them. You might understand the basics of design. Here's what people never took the time to teach us: how to negotiate with a client, how to find a client. Yeah, forget the negotiations, just find a client, right? How do you find clients? How do you attract clients? How do you negotiate with clients? How do you perform a proper needs assessment so that you don't sell yourself into some project where you are become an indentured servant to somebody that's not even really paying you? I mean, I can think back to when I got started building websites, $500 to build a website. I'm like, oh my God, I need this $500. And then, by the time hour 75 cranks over, you're like, okay, how much work am I going to do for $500? This is getting crazy. And then you get the whole project done, and they go, well, now that we showed the website to 3 of our friends, or now that we showed the website to our spouse and our nephew, they think we should change a lot of things. Like, this is the kind of stuff that would happen, right? Because a $500 budget meant that you were dealing with people that weren't professional themselves. And so no one taught them, how to purchase professional skills and how to negotiate and how to provide information. And so now you've got 2 people that don't know what they're doing, trying to put together a project, and it's a disaster, at best. And so you learn the hard way, right? You oh my goodness, that's a lot of spider web. That's the problem with being in a garden, lots of spiders. So you learn the hard way, right? And you grow over time to where you start filtering those people out, right? And maybe you do a $3,000 project, a $6,000 project, an $8,000 project. And you realize, as your prices are going up, the disconnect, the miscommunication, the angst is going away. Like the more you make, the easier it gets. And that sounds crazy, but that's what happens. So it's hard to explain this to people. Right now, there's certain responsibilities that come with selling a higher price package, of course. Right now you've got to get more into project management, maintaining the calendar, understanding digital assets. Intellectual property becomes a consideration, right? Like where are you putting your customers' information at? Like you got to be, where are you storing this data? Like these questions start to come up. When I look at what I spent this year on new software, new storage capacity for data, and managing, mañana no más, I got to tell you, 15, 20 years ago, I never would have thought this would have been the case. Here we are. It is August 6th. I've got 8 or 9 more days left in my billing cycle for my AI subscription, and I'm out of credits. I'm out of credits, and I have to make this like weird, awkward decision, right? Like, do I just want to execute the stuff that I researched on AI to burn up all those credits? Do I just want to execute that over the next week, or do I want to break out that credit card, swipe it, and keep the dopamine coming with new AI assisted answers? That's something that everyone is going to have to consider as they move forward, especially in the agency space. I should be more clear with that. I don't think that came out very clear. I used a lot of AI to do a lot of research, and it gave me a long list of things to do. And so I have things I could do. I have things to do. And so I could do that. Or I could keep swiping that credit card and keep buying those AI credits. And I could keep coming up with new, greater, more fantastic ideas. And that's the problem, right? Like there's a time when you're running your agency where you have to draw that line and go, okay, now it's time to execute. Now it's discipline. You have to have the discipline to go, now's the time to execute. And so I'm looking at this list of things to do, and I'm looking at our team, and I'm going, okay, who can I delegate these items to and know that this is going to create a new process? So we're going to have to document, so we're going to have to implement the thing, and then we're going to have to document the process, and then we're going to have to train others, right? This becomes a thing. And when you run an agency, that is a thing. Now, when you're freelancing and you're kind of running everything yourself, that you would think, well, that gives you the freedom, right? That gives you the freedom to go, well, I'm just going to do it my way. You got to be careful when you're like, I'm just going to do it my way. I'm just going to rip this thing open. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off and do this. I'll figure it out as I go. Sounds brave until you sell a job 6 months later, similar thing, and you go, oh, how did I do that? Right? The trick with being a successful agency, a profitable agency, is to sell work that you've done before. It's to come up with processes that you're efficient with. It's like being an automotive technician. These Macanudos are good with coffee. It's a Macanudo espresso with cream. I'm not big on infused cigars normally, but this espresso with cream Macanudo with a coffee in the morning and some quiet time like this, it's just magical. It's just magical. So, I think a lot of people miss how the agency actually makes money. I just mentioned it's almost the same as like an automotive technician, and I want you to think about this. And this will be fun. The puppy's going to go crazy because the sprinkler comes through the fence right here. So she's going to lose her mind and get soaked, which is fine. She dries really fast. So a technician working on cars, let's say he does brakes on a Honda Civic. The first time he does brakes on a Honda Civic, it might take him 2 hours. It might take him 2.5 hours. If he's going to turn the rotors, maybe it's going to take 3 hours. Maybe. Okay? First time. The job's going to pay him 1.5 hours. So the first time he does the job, he really doesn't make money, right? I mean, he gets paid an hour and a half to do the brakes, but it might take him 3 hours to do it, right? So let's say he gets paid $30 an hour, right? But if the job pays an hour and a half and it took him 3 hours to do it, he's not getting $30 an hour. He's getting $15 an hour. Okay, so you have to understand that's how automotive technicians make money. They don't get salaries, right? They get paid for what they get done. Well, some of them get paid. I don't want to go into all that. Okay, I have 20 years experience in running these service departments, so I'm very intimately familiar with how these technicians get paid. Now, that same technician, let's say he gets a job at a Honda store and he's doing Civics, boom, 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 and he's selling brakes, boom, boom, boom. By the sixth or seventh time he's doing brakes on a Honda Civic, it's not 3 hours. He's down to like 50 minutes. Okay, so now we look at it, we go, okay, so now instead of making $30 an hour, he's really making like $42.50, $43 an hour, if we do the math, right? Because it pays an hour and a half, but it's taking him like 50 or 55 minutes to do the brakes. So he's doing good, right? He's doing really good. Now he gets down to 40 minutes. The job pays 1.5 hours. Takes him, hey baby, it's the sprinkler. And it takes him 40, 45 minutes to do the job. Well, now he's not making $30 an hour. Now he's making $60 an hour. Now, is the job less? Is the quality of the job less? No, the quality of the job's the same. He's still using the same, ceramic, semi-metallic brake pads. He's still resurfacing the rotors. He's doing things, but he's got things in a framework that makes sense. He's got tools, right? So maybe he bought an air ratchet, and then maybe he bought his own lathe to resurface the rotors more quickly instead of sending the rotors out. But that's like running an agency, right? In the old days, if we needed a website to do something, we had to figure out how to make it happen, jump into the code editor and start tapping away at things. And now we, install a plugin, configure a couple things, move on. In the day of AI, we go to Claude and we go, I'm looking for a tool, I need to build a tool similar to this, but does this instead, blah, 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 right? Write a prompt and get some code, load that into a staging or development site, test it real quickly, implement it in the site, boom, right? You're happy, customer's happy, and you're efficient. And that efficiency is what drives the profits, okay? And so that's how we run successful agencies. The thing is nobody teaches you that. I talk to kids in high school and I talk to kids in college on a regular basis. And when they're coming out of these schools, they're coming out with some good base knowledge. I'm not saying the teachers or the curriculum is horrible. That's not what I'm saying. But they're not coming out ready to start an agency and be effective, productive, and profitable out of the gate. They're coming out of school knowing how to build a website and basically starting out where I did, like, I'll sell you a website for $500. Folks, it's 20 years later. We can't keep selling websites for $500 to other people that aren't professional, that don't have experience, that don't know what the process is. And now you've got two people trying to figure it out as they go, and it's not a good combination. James is back with us today. So let's see what James says. James says, now if you love your job, hey, AI will make it for me. Yeah, AI for sure. I am still on the fence with this AI thing. I vibe coded an add-on for Lifter LMS a couple weeks ago. I love when James shows up. I'm starting to wonder if James is always on the computer, because every time I go live, here comes James, which is nice. It's great. I love the support, so please don't take it the wrong way. James says another thing. It says, if you love your job, you'll never work a day. It's a great saying. I don't think it's true. I love what I do, but boy, I'll tell you what, sometimes it's work, right? Sometimes it's work. I've had some customer relationships in the last week that have very much been work. Things, and my own fault. We have an instance, and I've been very public about it. I mean, I don't say her name or drag her through the mud or anything like that, but I've been very public about the interactions we did it. We did work. We did a lot of work pro bono for somebody. You know, they're a paying customer at a small level. They it's one of these where I was just talking about it. We brought somebody in. They didn't have a whole lot of business experience themselves. We tried to bolster them up. We gave them some consulting. They really don't have the budget to work with us at a high level. They don't have the budget to do it. And so we have provided a lot of pro bono work for them on top of what they're doing. But now that's created an expectation, right? And so now it's, how do I get quicker answers from you? How do I, like, complaints are coming, right? And it's hard to believe, but it's like, you haven't paid for these services. How can you be in a rush for them? And so we're like, well, hey, we do have, we have these support packages available. We've been doing pro bono stuff for you for 2.5, 3 years, trying to help you launch. You're launched. You've got paying customers. You've got good flow. You have a successful website. You have an amazing website. Like, for what we built you, you've paid next to nothing. And to explain that to somebody, like to have to go back in time and explain to somebody what they've already received, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one. And then to go, and if you want to continue at this pace, if you want to have high expectations and timeliness, and you want someone you can call for support, like, on the spot, you don't understand. You're talking $2,500 a month. You're talking $3,500 a month. You got a budget for that professionalism. If you want to keep working on favors, we can do that. But then understand that you are, dealing with the timeliness of a favor, because paying customers have to be taken care of first. And so it's been an interesting conversation, to the point where no hard feelings at all. But from a professional standpoint, it's like, maybe we're not the best provider for you anymore. Like we are an enterprise level agency dealing with corporations and contracts and things like that, and we love that work. And you are not at that stage, but your business did not grow at the rate that our agency grew. And so now we need to reflect on that and go, maybe we're not the best provider for you. Maybe you need someone that's down a few tiers, right? That could be more available to you at a lower rate. And that's hard to explain to people sometimes, right? But it sets things up. James put another comment in here. He says, kids need to be armed with a new set of skills now. The game has changed big time. Well, the game's more than changed, James. It's continuing to change at a pace that people don't. Man, that's the problem with being out in the garden. I feel like creepy crawlies are all over me out here. I talk so much I may have let my cigar go out. It's continuing to change. The game has changed big time. Yes, the game has changed big time. But the thing is that there is no relief in sight. No relief in sight that things are going to level out, balance. And like a lot of people would say, oh, we'll just get through this and then everything will even out. No, that's not going to happen. Now you got these people, trying to clickbait everybody on YouTube and go, oh, is this the end of WordPress? It's dead. I killed it. Trying to go, is this the end of WordPress, and be all hyperbolic. WordPress isn't going anywhere. 43% of the internet on WordPress. Market share might go down. Maybe it goes to 30%. Maybe it goes to 35%. But we have to look at, like, who's using WordPress. The White House, NASA, big companies, Procter & Gamble, right? Big companies are using WordPress. And so we have to say, okay, maybe the market share does go down. Maybe someone that needs maybe someone that needs a one-page marketing site with no user database and all those things, right? No blog, none of that. Hey, a solid, static HTML page or something made in Lovable, that makes total sense, right? And when we say the game's changed big time, and it's continuing to change, that's the things that we're looking at, right? We're looking at, you can't just be a one trick pony, right? You're going to have to figure things out. I know that I come off like I am an all WordPress kind of person sometimes, and I always talk about being a hypocrite. Like, I know that I'm a hypocrite about lots of things. So people think, oh, he's a WordPress guy. He's a WordPress guy. The backbone of Mañana No Mas is run on a SaaS platform. And a lot of people are struck by that, right? Because our client portal, our invoicing, our time tracking, our project management, our proposals, all of that is run through a SaaS platform that I subscribe to. And I'm really happy with it. So, and people go, well, why don't you just vibe code your own, brah? AI bros with this, hey, why don't you just vibe code all this stuff? I don't see the financial efficiency at the end of the road for that. Being familiar with AI, how AI works, can I code things with AI? Like, knowing that stuff, I think makes sense. But when it comes to like the backbone of my business, what I want to run my business on, I'm just going to subscribe to someone else's tool. It comes with support, which I think is very important. So it comes with support. It does what I need it to do. And the expense isn't exorbitant. And so being able to do that for me is a lot more efficient, consistent, and peace of mind related than maybe vibe coding or building something. I'm very, very careful with my time in that way. Let's see. I didn't have a whole lot that I was going to go over today, and we're 21 minutes in, and so I think that kind of puts me where I'm at. I'm really enjoying some quiet time out in the garden today. It's only about 71, 72 degrees right now. Yesterday was like 65 in the morning, and so and in Kansas it's been really hot lately, and so these nice, refreshing, cool mornings, it's like such a blessing to just grab a cup of coffee, get outside, and do some stuff. I have been using AI. When people are like, hey, so, what do you use AI for? I've been using AI to really examine it's a hummingbird, to really examine the messaging of Mañana No Mas. Mañana No Mas has a lot of projects, okay? So Mañana No Mas is like the umbrella website. And then we have WP Agency Academy, Sunflower Launch, the Pedal Academy, the Power Sport Academy. We have all of these tools. We have KurtVonAnen.com. We have all these things. And I've been really studying this network of sites that we've built. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of second guessing what was the target? What was the intent? What kind of revenue should I be generating off of these projects? And what kind of revenue am I or am I not generating off of these projects? We've got a couple of real lame ducks in the portfolio, to be honest with you. And so I'm looking at these lame ducks and I'm going, okay, was it a bad idea? Like, do we just need to turn it off? Do we need to turn it off? Right? The other thing, we already did work, right? We did work. They're good assets, but they're not generating revenue. Okay, so then what do we do? Do we do another launch? Do we do a relaunch? Do we buy ads? I'm not big on buying ads, but like these are products, right? So if we're going to be in the product category, we got to treat them like products. And so this idea of build it and they will come is completely false. And you hear me talk about it on the shows that I'm on, like the WP Tonic and all that other stuff, Live Smoker Channel. Now, the Smoker Channel, I'm thinking, isn't for the cigars. I'm thinking the Smoker Channel is for the, because I love cigars too. But I'm thinking you're talking about the meats. We have the meats. I did a chuck roast the other day. Oh my God, like with a fork. It was so good. So good. I love to cook. So yeah, looking at these projects, God, if I did a Live Smoker Channel, that'd just be another product, wouldn't it? It'd just be something else. It would just be something on the cooking channel. James is like, a cooking channel. If you were on Post Status and followed on Post Status, you would see that there's a bunch of us that like take pictures of our food and share it on the food channel inside Post Status. It's a lot of fun. I like that. And there's people all over the place. Christian Crispin, but God, I can't remember his full name. He's from Greece. He is a vegetarian, and he posts up some of the most beautiful Mediterranean dishes when he cooks. He's soups and salads and oh man, just awesome stuff. Anyway, I digress. When I think about all these products, and I'm looking at what makes revenue, what doesn't make revenue. For instance, the Power Sport Academy. The Power Sport Academy, as a product and service, it works. However, it didn't work by itself. It works in association with another company. So we actually subcontract our training services through the Power Sport Academy through an organization called Hero Hub. In fact, I am doing a live session for Hero Hub tomorrow. I train fixed operations, which is service, right? So you heard me talking about being an auto mechanic, right? Well, I actually have a training product that teaches dealerships how to increase their service sales through efficiencies and communication and stuff. And so that's one of our things. The Power Sport Academy created the curriculum, and we were trying to sell that training directly to dealers, and we weren't having a lot of success. And then another company came along and said, hey, we really like your training. Would you be willing to train under our umbrella? So we still call it Power Sport Academy. We still say by Kurt Von Ahnen, right? So we still get all the credit for it, but we don't sell it. We don't schedule it. They take care of all the sales, all the scheduling, all the attendance. They take care of all of it, and we just provide the service. And then we do a revenue split, right? And split the dough. And it works really well for me. I'm really happy with that arrangement. But it drives us back to what I was talking about earlier, and that is what prevented the direct sale. Like, how did we miss the mark? And that's what I've been doing a lot of AI research with. Please review this website. Please look at this content in this website. This is our target audience. This is our service. What about this copy would prevent conversion? And then working through trying to figure out like some SEO generated content that would help with the conversion side of what we're producing in these products. It's really important. I think a lot of people have great ideas, right? I'm a person full of ideas. We have to implement those ideas, right? We have to take action with those ideas. But a lot of times, the people that are really great at coming up with ideas are really poor at sharing those ideas. Just being real. A lot of people have great knowledge, and then they put a product together to share that great knowledge, and it flops. There's reasons for that, and there's reasons why there's professionals out there in the space that can help you get through that, right? And that's what we're working on right now for our own products. So I don't want you to think that we know everything and that we've got the easy button and that we're holding out on you and everyone else's courses are making them a millionaire, but for some reason you're just not a millionaire yet. Like, that is crazy talk. You can get really lost, with the Russell Brunson challenges and the Tony Robbins talks and all those things. You can get really lost in that stuff. Don't fall for it. The average person with a great idea still struggles with getting their great idea in front of an audience. You have to build that tribe, build that audience, come out with an MVP, reinvest, grow yourself, and continue to work on the copy so that you can do what you want to do. A great example of this is the Mañana No Mas website. The Mañana No Mas website, up until about 3 months ago, the copy was really pretty weak. I thought the copy was great. I thought it was like, hey, look what we can do for you. You know what? People aren't like, hey, look at all this stuff you can do for me. That's not what people aren't going to convert on that. And so we actually hired a professional. Imagine that, right? We're the pros and we hired a professional. So we hired a professional to go over our copy with us, help us change the text on our website. And we've actually noticed in our analytics that our bounce rates have gone down, our visits have gone up. And people going deeper into the website and the session time that people spend on the website has all those numbers are going in the right direction, right? And that's something that we have to look at. We as a business have to look at that and go, so paying that professional, was that a good investment? I have to say at this point, yeah, absolutely, it was a great investment. Now we just need to figure out, okay, if we got people increasing their session time, we've got more people coming, session times are high, the bounce rate's down, okay, where's the conversion gap at? Do we need a lead magnet? right? Do we need to say, hey, click here for a free sample? Like, we got to figure it out. We will continue to work on this until we unlock something that works. And I'm not going to say unlock the secret, because like James said earlier, right, with his observation, is everything keeps changing. And so you got to commit, and you got to go, okay, I'm going to keep working, I'm going to keep tweaking, I'm going to keep evaluating. And that's what we're in right now. We're in this process now where we've got a couple of really great projects. Our biggest project this year has already launched. We've sent the emails, we've launched it, and that's a whole show in itself to tell you how we did this successfully. I am so proud of the team. So far, we've sent over 2,000 emails on behalf of this launch, and not a single email address has bounced. Not a single bounce. We still have a few thousand names that we're working through. Again, I'll do a whole show on this about how to successfully launch a product with bugs, with a new mail list, because there's a way to do it without destroying, your sending reputation. And so we'll go through that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Folks, if you're tracking me, I'll be on WP Tonic this morning at 11 o'clock Central. I will be with Lifter LMS, the Ask Us Anything call. I'll be on that at noon Central. I'll be on the office hours call with Lifter LMS. I'll be doing that at 2 o'clock Central Time. And then I'll be on the Membership Machine show at 4 o'clock Central Time. And so today's a packed day full of me being on screen. So that's why I'm out in the garden early today, getting a head start, getting my head clear. I've got 4 hours of live presentations to do today with other co-hosts and things. And so if you get the time, pop into those things, say hello, let us know where you're from. There's always room for comments. And James, thank you so much for participating. Dude, have yourself a wonderful day. I can see some other people are in here watching the live. Do me a favor. Let me know who you are, where you're from. Like, share, subscribe, all of those things. And I will talk to you very, very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.